Hello everybody, welcome once again to Statesman.com and another edition of the High School Blitz. This is the Week 8 edition. We have 4 games we want to talk about as usual. We're going to start out at Dragon Stadium. We have Round Rock at 5-1 hosting the 3-3 Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge is on the streak, Round Rock is on the streak. Something's got to give. Who wins this one?
I'm going to go with Cedar Ridge. They're 3-3, but it's 3-3 with quote marks around them because of those 3 forfeits that they had to do. I just like the way their offense is playing. Trevor Molesky has been a very good quarterback, 16 touchdowns in his first season as their quarterback, has 3 really good receivers, and David Racine, Kadarius Daniels, Blake Patterson, and Round Rock has some good defensive players, Mason Ramirez being one of them in the secondary, but I think that's just a little bit too much talent on offense, and I'm going with the Raiders.
It's hard to say which team is actually hotter because Cedar Ridge has won 6 in a row on the field. But Round Rock has won 5 in a row. After that early season loss, they've come back with 5 straight wins. I like their quarterback, Colin Henson, more than 375 yards of total offense last week and a big victory for them. I just think that they're playing at home. Dragon Stadium is tough on opponents. I'm going with the guy that averages about 328 yards total a game. So I'm going with the Dragons.
All right. Heading over to Georgetown, we have Eastview and Georgetown, 2 5-1 teams going at it. Who moves on to 6-1 this time?
I'm going to go with Eastview. I know they're kind of like the little brother of the 2 teams. They're the new school. They almost beat Georgetown last year. They've been playing awfully well this year. I like that they run the ball effectively. Cornelio Garcia has been good for a couple of years now. In last week's game, they ran it 50 times. They only passed it 14 times. So they're a ball control team, and when they're running that effectively, I just think they're hard to beat. And I think that they've got that incentive. We got to beat Big Brother.
Right.
I'm going with Big Brother in this one. Maybe it's because I'm the oldest of 4, but I'll pick the Eagles. We talked about Dakota Cahill in our video on Monday, the running back out of Georgetown, but keep your eye on Georgetown quarterback Ben Bottlinger, 17 touchdown passes this year. Most importantly, that game you talked about last year, Eastview was up 28-14. Georgetown came back and won 35-28, and Bottlinger was the reason why, threw 2 touchdown passes in the second half and led them on a game-winning drive. So I think Georgetown makes it 3 in a row against Eastview, but these 2 teams actually might meet again in the playoffs. So this may be a preview at Georgetown ISD Athletic Complex.
Well, another potential playoff matchup. We move up all the way to Temple up north. Hutto is 6-0, and they're being hosted by Temple, who is 5-1. Big game there. Who wins that one?
I'm going to go with probably the state's the biggest surprise, because I don't understand why the AP voters haven't noticed Hutto is undefeated and they only give up 3.8 points per game, and they average 46. They're winning by blowouts. Of course, the competition rises exponentially this week. But I just like the way Tyler Herrick has been guiding that offense. Their second-year coach, Van Meter, is obviously doing something right. Hutto, they're hungry, they're heavy, and they want to win.
Yeah. Hutto gave up 23 points throughout the first 6 weeks.
The entire season.
It's crazy.
Danny's got a different view, though.
I'm going with Temple. Hutto is going to be able to score against Temple. Round Rock scored against Temple. Westlake scored against Temple. Maynard, despite all of the troubles they've had with their offense, scored against Temple. So expect the Hippos to score, but Chad President, the Temple quarterback, is going to be at Baylor next year. Jeff Carr, running back, who for some reason is like the Hutto of the high school recruiting scene. He hasn't gotten really any offers. Between the 2 of them, they have 7 100-yard rushing games this year. President's also thrown 7 touchdown passes. I just think you take those 2 things, and I see Temple winning. I think Temple's played a little bit of a tougher schedule, but I think Hutto's going to open some eyes, and I would not expect Rick over here to be the only AP voter voting for next week, because even with a loss, I think they're going to play pretty well against Temple and open some eyes.
All right, now at Nelson Field, we have McCallum hosting Bastrop. What do you think happens here?
Well, I'm not going to vote against McCallum 2 weeks in a row. I picked wrong against them last week. I did not think that their defense could play well against this LBJ team, but held them to 23, which isn't a great defensive number, but pretty impressive compared to what they have been doing. They gave up 166 points over their first 4 games. Last 2 weeks against Lanier, and LBJ have only given up 26. So I think their defense is playing better. We know about their offensive firepower, but defense wins championships, and they'll also win this bastrop game.
I'm also not going to pick against McCallum 2 weeks in a row. I picked against McCallum last week because I didn't know how good Sabian Cannon was. I knew before the season he was one of their best players, but he's had this thumb injury that kind of nagged on him. But after about 190 yards of rushing against a good LBJ front seven, I became very impressed with him. Clement Jones is a great complement at running back. He's got 16 touchdowns. Bastrop's got a good running game too. That Carrington Waits is, about 180 almost every week. It just seems like. Put the two together, I just think that McCallum wants it more. They need it more, and they're defending champions in that district. So I'm going with the defending champs.
All right. Well, a pretty strong week of football is ahead of us. Anything can happen, but keep checking back at statesman.com for results and more.